Hello everyone, today I'm going to show you how to create rice paper light bulbs that will cover your real lights on your cakes. For these light bulb covers, I'm using one sheet of my rice paper that I soak for 20 seconds in water. You can use as many rice sheets as you need. My light bulbs were small, so that was more than enough for me. Now I'm placing my rice sheet on my silicone mat. Next, I'm using a circle cookie cutter to cut out my shapes. I need 7 of them, and then I cut out a few extras as well. At this moment, I realized that my rice paper was a little bit too wet, so it was a little bit more difficult to cut out the few first shapes. I use my sharp blade to help me cut out the shape later on. Once water started evaporating, it was much easier to cut out my circles. When using sharp blade, make sure not to cut through your silicone mat. And in general, mind your fingers. I am going to use this silicone ice making mold to shape my light bulbs on. I wanted my light bulbs stick out a little bit of the cake, so that's why I was using this mold. This all light bulb cover can be also flat. When flat, try to dry between 2 books, as otherwise it will be wavy. I use a paintbrush that I dip in water to help me shape the light bulbs. This is my new idea I never tried before, so the first light bulb is always for the purpose of experiment. And while I am experimenting, my rice paper is getting a little bit drier, and that will help me to form all the other light bulbs much easier. Looking back now at my video, I should have gone a little bit smaller for the light bulbs. That would help me a lot easier to shape them over this silicone mold. However, I didn't have a slightly smaller cookie cutter, and the other one that I had was too small for the project. If your rice paper gets a little bit too dry, you can always use a brush and a little bit of water to make it wet again. At this moment, I realized that dipping the cookie cutter into the water and then cutting the rice paper through was a lot easier. Then one by one I take my cutout circles and I place them over the mold, and I repeat the process over and over till I have all my lights made. Some mistakes happen along the way, so don't worry and just make a new circle. Some circles were more manageable than the others, so take your time. Here I tried to see if I can reshape the light bulb I did earlier, so I left it on the side to dry for a little bit. And meanwhile I am doing the rest of the light bulbs. Once I was happy with the shape of my light bulbs, then I decided I need to color them. I was making a chakra cake, so every light bulb was a different color according to chakras. If you don't need to add color to your rice paper, leave them dry like this. They will be back to the color of the original rice paper. To color my light bulbs, I was using food gel colors. I was using water to dilute them. Repeat the same process with all the colors that you need. I left few light bulbs uncolored just in case I will need some later. I didn't have purple gel food colors, so I was using dust diluted in water. The coverage was less intense than using gel colors, so I needed to dust them on top. Next step is to dry your rice paper. You can let them dry just like that, and they will dry in a day or two depending on the climate you are in. Or you can use a hairdryer to speed up the process. Or you can use your oven on the low heat setting. Sometimes I use a combination of all three. Once rice paper circles become drier, you can use your fingers to shape them furthermore. At this point, they are still tacky. Once your rice paper is dry, unmold it gently from the mold you were using. So here you see that using a smaller circle cookie cutter would actually benefit my shape a lot better than the cookie cutter I had. In a meaning that maybe there would have been less wrinkles on the final shape. However, I was really happy about how they turned out. And here you see those few clear light bulbs that I said I will be doing, and they're back to the color of the original rice paper color. And here you see how the other ones are looking from up close. Here you will see how I place my light bulbs on the cake. With the cookie cutter, I marked first the place where I want my first light bulb to go, and I just was looking if the placement is right and the hole is wide enough. Then with the help of my ruler, I tried to space out my light bulbs as even as I can. At this moment my cake was tacky, so that was an interesting thing to do. Be patient. As you see here, I just placed my cookie cutter at the point where I needed to go, and then I twist it, and that helps me to cut out the fondant and extract it from the cake. I do the same for the 7 light bulbs I'm going to place on the cake. Once I punch all the holes, then I made indentations where my light bulbs will go. Next, I'm using balling tool to push in my cake. However, you can use a knife and just cut out the hole as well. Next, I have pushed my light bulbs inside the holes I made. I covered them with the rice paper covers that I made before, and then I hide the seam with the fondant strip that I made. And finally, I decorated that fondant strip with sugar pearls. Here you see how the lights are looking at nighttime. It was very hard to capture the light with my camera. And this is how the lights are looking in daytime. Thank you for watching and subscribing to my channel.